It's been reported via ESPN, Adam Schefter, Mike McCarthy, to interview for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I did not know this, but according to the reports, Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy worked together in New Orleans in the year 2000. So there's a tie right there. Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy having business relations. Mike McCarthy is tied to the city. It's been reported that the Steelers want to bring Aaron Rodgers back as quarterback, and I've kind of been talking about this a little bit. I don't think there's really any quarterbacks out there for the Pittsburgh Steelers to go after that is better than Aaron Rodgers. As much as the fans want to get a young franchise quarterback, I think, that's really not in the cards for the Steelers unless you decide to, get a Daniel Jones or trade for somebody other than Aaron Rodgers to bring here, because I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer. Is Malik Willis really the answer? Can you develop these guys? I don't know. I don't want to take the risk on it. I know you're going to get at least 25 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers and about 3,500 yards, not many interceptions, a guy that can control the tempo at the line of scrimmage. And, he said he was here because of Mike Tomlin, but maybe he might want to come back because of Mike McCarthy. And, Mike McCarthy, is he a young offensive mind? No, but he is a coach that has a Super Bowl resume, guy that has a lot of experience in the NFL. And I'm one of those people that doesn't really buy into this narrative that you need a young offensive mind or whatever. That's what they say, and they beat in your heads over and over and again. But, I mean, Mike McCarthy comes from a West Coast offensive tree. That's where all these guys come from. LaFleur, Shanahan, Sean McVay. They all come from West Coast offensive trees. So Mike McCarthy brings a new offensive direction for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a more pass-heavy offense. That's what the West Coast offense brings. It's an offense that sets up the run or sets up through the pass. So with a Mike McCarthy, who's also ran a 3-4 zone defense, zone blitz, that's the foundation of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now is the defense, the 3-4 defense, and the zone blitz. So that you bring Mike McCarthy in there, you can still basically keep that foundation without having to really tear it down and go in a whole new direction, while starting to transition and lead your franchise in a new direction offensively. And given the fact that he's more of an offensive-minded coach, he's going to want to invest in talents offensively. So I think that basically is the best opportunity. I think he's the front runner right now. I think that's all. With all that being said, you give the Steelers the best chance to compete. Ruiz came out and said they don't want to waste a year. So you kind of maintain your identity while, kind of going in a little bit more of a new direction, but not totally. Mike McCarthy is a professional. He's been here. Yeah, he's an offensive mind, but he understands you need a good defense as well. That's why, when Dom Capers came to Green Bay to help him bring that zone defense with the West Coast offense, they were able to win a Super Bowl. And that might bring and entice an Aaron Rodgers. That would be a perfect story for him to go back with his coach in Pittsburgh, a city that's, I think embraced him at this point, and give the Steelers the best chance to compete. So, here we are, Runt. Mike McCarthy. I said he's the front runner, and I think he is the front runner. And I think he's going to be the new head coach. And then maybe you get that Rams passing coordinator in here. To help, run a West Coast offense, because he runs a West Coast that's what they run with Los Angeles, is a West Coast offense. And that's kind of what I think the Steelers offense is built to do. They have the personnel to run a West Coast offense, and they have a personnel to run a 3-4 defense. So I think this is the best fit, best match, one of the best, most experienced guys out there, especially with Stefanski going to the Falcons. I mean, they're on the fence about the Harbaugh deal. I heard it was done and then it wasn't done, but all signs are pointing that Harbaugh is going to be going to the New York Giants. So this is the next guy in line with the best resume. If you're going to hand over personnel decisions and you don't want to waste a year and you want to compete, this guy's the best fit, in my opinion, for this team. He's going to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion. He's going to blow them away. Got links to Khan, got links to the city. It makes so much sense to me. It makes the most sense to me. And people say I'm crazy, I don't know what I'm talking about, and they don't want him, but I think it's going to be him. This is my front runner, man. Or maybe that Shula guy. He is the odds-on favorite right now, Shula or whatever. And I mean, it's Rooney's. They want a story. They can sell that story. Shula obviously got links. Chuck Noll has links to Shula. So, you bring, that's a big name with a historic name with a historic franchise. So you can sell that too. But I don't know if he necessarily I don't know what type of defense he wants to run. Pretty sure the Rams are running a 4-3 defense over there. So does he fit? Does his philosophy fit the foundation that's already been put in place here in Pittsburgh? If it's a 4-3 defense, no. West Coast offense. I mean, I think we have the personnel to run a West Coast offense. We should have been running a West Coast offense and not this Arthur Smith bunch heavy set 95 tight end personnel, especially with Aaron Rodgers. You're, in my opinion, your best asset on offense, maybe outside of some of the offensive linemen. Kenneth Gainwell, that was probably your best. I mean, bang for your buck at least. But I think you can transition this offense easily into a West Coast offense. You got Jalen Warren. If you want to bring Gainwell back, he's a perfect back for a West Coast offense as well. And it works. What's up, man? Take Shula. You don't want McCarthy? Well, they're interviewing him. And I think it's the best fit. I think it's going to happen. Maybe Flores. If you could convince a McCarthy to come and then a Brian Flores to flip from the Vikings to the Steelers and be the Steelers defensive coordinator, and then you get that Rams at offense. They keep talking about that. I don't even know his name. That passing game coordinator. Because obviously we need to get better in a passing game. So you bring a passing game coordinator in here, focused on a passing game, focused on a quarterback. You can bring in an Aaron Rodgers. This would entice Aaron Rodgers to come back, no matter how much you don't want to like it. Or there's not another better quarterback out there. That's the Steelers' best, just like it last year. This year's, maybe Sam Darnold was the only better option than Arnold out there last year. But this year, there is not a better option at quarterback for the Steelers than Aaron Rodgers. Will Howard has never even taken a snap in preseason. As much as I would think, he has the mold to possibly be a franchise quarterback. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He had a high completion percentage in college. But at the end of the day, that's projections. That's, okay, you got good upside, but you have never even taken a snap in the NFL. So this is the Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-time Super Bowl winning champions. You're not going to come out there and just say, well, a guy that's never even taken a snap in an NFL preseason game, let alone in an NFL game, is going to be the starting quarterback. Come on. That's not going to happen, I don't think. At the very least, you got to bring in a Daniel Jones or some type of veteran to compete with Mason or something. Or you have Mason, Will, and then you draft another rookie to where they compete. A higher-rounded rookie than Will Howard. Get one in the third. Get one in the fourth. If that's what you're going to do. But you're going to start a fourth-round rookie. You're going to start a fifth, sixth-round rookie in Will Howard. You're going to start Mason Rudolph. Mike McCarthy gives Aaron Rodgers the best chance to come here. Keep that foundation on defense. Change the direction a little bit offensively. Actually get an offense that can sustain drives and pick up first downs. You bring back this defense that was probably middle of the pack, but still top-tiered in sacks and top-tiered in turnovers. So if you get a little bit of offensive production, some first downs, a little bit of a passing game, the defense could go from being mid-tiered back to one of the tops. And offense, maybe a top 10. And McCarthy gives you, in my opinion, the best chance to not waste a year and go out there and have a real run at this for the Steelers. It's my opinion, bro. I want Kenny G back for sure. You're interviewing 5 or 6, though. He's never had a chance. Hell no, Rodgers isn't coming back. I seen reports saying that the Steelers front office is open to bringing Rodgers back. And The reality is he's the best option. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to take your best option. You're not rolling the dice on a dude that was taken in the 6th round, 5th round, whatever. It's never even taken a snap. I'd start Mason Rudolph over Will Howard. And then if he sucks so bad and the media outcry gets so loud, that's when you throw Will Howard in there. To where everybody's embracing him and wanting him. And it was no choice. I need to see him in preseason. He goes out there and has 3 great preseason games, then okay. Maybe I'm going to give you a week 1 start. But coming into a season, you got to have another plan. You got to have a plan outside of that. Sorry, you do. If you actually want to, there's no wasted years according to the owner. So, yeah, good game, bro. You guys smashed this out. What can I say? Daniel Hunter, your front 7, your front 4 just mollywopped the Steelers, shit out of the Steelers. Your defense mollywopped the shit out of the Steelers. I think our defense played good. Forced turnovers. Was able to contain you guys until the 4th. But then after that, fumbles, turnovers, you guys just, it was over. No getting back in it. So, I mean, I'd rather see, even though Houston beat the Steelers, I'd rather see Houston win than the fucking Patriots. I'd rather see Houston win than even the Broncos. Fuck the Broncos, too. Broncos probably ain't made. Houston might make it. They get past New England. Bo Nix is out. So I'd say whoever wins this game between the Patriots and Houston is probably gonna go on to the Super Bowl. I was picking Denver to go on to the Super Bowl out the AFC, but now with Bo Nix down and Jared Stidham going in there, no, I got whoever wins this game is going to the AFC Championship. I got Seattle coming out the NFC. And Rodgers, there's another one. Rodgers, he hasn't closed the door on it. He's left it open of a possible comeback. He's left the door open on a possible return. And Mike McCarthy is that guy. So, I think 13 minutes is enough to cover this. So, it looks like they're the best team of football. Yeah, they're the odds-on favorite, too. So, I just seen this report after I did that live earlier. So, and this kind of, I want to try to do different things. I want to come up with, bring content in different forms. Obviously, this is the vertical live feed. They're doing all these different, So I tried it in this, and I got to start getting more video format up too. I'm working, I'm still learning OBS. So obviously, the more I learn OBS, the better the quality of the content's going to be. And that's really what I need to focus on more this channel. I think, I have a lot of good things to say, but I got to really learn how to get better at formatting it and upping the quality a little bit, the production quality of, the videos. But that's, we're trying. We're getting better every day. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the share. He's also trash and needs to retire. Well, he's the best quarterback we've had in years. Playing on a broken wrist. Laying his body on the line. Standing in the pocket. Getting fucked up, throwing, I don't know what, only 7 interceptions and multiple goddamn touchdowns. You say TJ still got one more year. I say, Aaron got one more year. You get Aaron Rodgers for $15 million, bruh. Give him some incentives. Same deal. Get us the playoffs. Another whatever on top of it. Get us out of that round. A little bit more cherry on top. Get us AFC champion, a little more cherry on top, and you get a Super Bowl, a little more cherry on top. That's the incentive. That's the goal. for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, it's easier to predict when you got the head coach. And like I've been saying in the past couple of lives, I don't even know how to predict where this is all going to go from here. But a Mike McCarthy, that gives me, honestly, as a Steelers fan, the most confidence in them coming out winning the division again next year. And will they be Super Bowl contenders? Will they be the favorite when they get in the playoffs? No. But look at the situation right now with the Patriots in Houston. Whoever wins that game probably going to beat Denver because luck have it. Bo Nix, who's having a hell of a year and had a pretty solid, I'm not going to say great game, had a pretty solid game though. Was making some nice throws. What is he, third-year quarterback? In one of the biggest moments of his career. It was a big part of Denver winning that game. The defense was a big part, but Bo Nix had a big part of it too. Now he's down. So who say Steelers slip in there, get out the wild card round, go in, hard-fought divisional round, boom, and then who knows? Let's say they pull the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. You never know. That's why I say everybody hating on Tomlin. Regular season's half the battle, man. You got to get there to have a chance. And I'm going to keep reiterating it. McCarthy gives me the most confidence to Steelers to have a chance to get in that dance and start changing the direction of the franchise a little bit to more offense and not $1 million, $100 million, $1 trillion on defense. Instead of paying safeties $20 million a year, you can find some gems like a Kyle Duggar for real cheap. Or who knows, out the draft, something. Like we're paying Minka all this money, paying Jalen Ramsey. Is that really good business? Everybody talks about the highest paid defense. Paying those tackles $20 million like Cam Hayward. I love Cam Hayward, but, that's what McCarthy brings. A new direction, at least in investments. And putting your money to where it needs to go. And then you can still keep everybody's favorite player like a TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith-Herbig. You don't have to make all these big major moves and completely tear it down. But it leads to a new direction for 2, 3, 4 years. And then, once you have a little bit more of a foundation on offense, and McCarthy don't get it done, your 3 years is up, bud. Then we're going to go get that new young offensive guru. And we have a little bit more of a foundation for this guy to build off of and be then the next coach that actually, leads the Steelers to, hopefully, the first to get 7 instead of New England. So I'm definitely rooting for Houston today, for sure, because I don't want to see them cheats get to 7 before the Steelers. And yeah, they got a bunch of them, Stephon Diggs. I know you're upset about Stephon Diggs, whatever. It is what it is. The NFL is known. They just sweep all criminal actions under the rug if you can play football. And that's sad, but it's the truth. I'd say if you think Will Howard, a guy that's never took a preseason snap, should be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, you should probably get off the crack. Okay? That's what I say. And you don't want a 4-time MVP that's won a Super Bowl? I mean, that takes are consistent. I want a motherfucker with a resume. I want a guy that's been there and done that. I judge you off your performance. I'm not judging you off your race. I'm not judging you off nothing else but your performance. Okay? That's how I judge your performance on the field. Not all this other shit that they be talking about all the fucking time. What you do on the field. I don't give a fuck what Aaron Rodgers does off the field. I don't care that he's popping shrooms. I don't care that he goes to his resorts. All this other extra shit. I don't give a fuck. All right? That's not my business. What he does in the offseason, as long as he's not committing any crimes or hurting people. If he wants to go do shrooms in some woods somewhere, I don't give a fuck. As long as you come out and throw for 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and don't turn the ball over. Can make checks at the line and be veteran leadership on the offense. And with a little bit more talent and a little bit more weaponry, we can see a little bit more production out of Aaron Rodgers. We can see a defense that's not gassed late in the season, that is actually able to go on the sidelines and get a drink, get a water, get a breath. And an offense that actually can go out there and get first downs and sustain drives and put points on the boards and not have to rely on your defense bailing you out every single game. And then that, why I talk about it all the time, defense, offense, special teams. It's full circle. And with that, this team can be in full circle and full swing to be blasting the song we all know and love next season. Here we go. Steelers, here we go. Pittsburgh's gone to the Super Bowl. Here we go.